Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Gunning to Old Trafford. This is your host, Ibi and Shady.
How's it, guys? Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, so Ibrahim, we're finally here. 12 months in the making.
Yeah, it's been a long road. Something we've been really passionate about,
Yes,
and
definitely.
finally here recording our first video of many, hopefully. And,
I hope you guys are excited.
Yes,
because this is going to be a long road, but a fun road, and let's enjoy it, guys.
I don't think Saad will agree with that entire discussion, but I mean,
Okay.
He's behind the camera. We're hoping he's enjoying it as much as we are. Yeah.
I hope so.
So, the name might, confuse you a bit, Gunning to Old Trafford. And I think, as you can see from our attire, I'm a massive Manchester United fan, born into it actually. No choice of my own, but really enjoyed being a Manchester United fan my entire life. And I suppose the same was.
I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, and the rivalry has been immense throughout the years between myself and Ibrahim. But there's always been common ground and respect.
Exactly, I think that's important.
I think I admired the old Manchester United just as much as you admired the old Arsenal. We just want to take you guys down memory lane, and let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I think, just before we give up, a brief intro about the channel, just something that popped to mind around the mutual respect that we have. So, Shady and myself, both footballers or ex-footballers, obviously not professional, just grassroots type of football. We played in the same team. We played against each other a few times.
We tried our best, yes.
And he'll tell you, one of the players that really inspired my game was Thierry Henry.
Yes.
And that is the reason why I chose the number 14 shirt when I played as well. So, although I love Manchester United and I'll always love them, I think Thierry Henry was someone that I really respected. And I think that talks about, the mutual respect that you spoke about.
I used to, personally, I never played winger. I was a centre mid, so I couldn't get the number 7 jersey. But David Beckham to me was my all-time favorite. I think technically he was one of the best. And that's.
So I was looking a bit confused behind the camera. He's
did we speak about too much?
Born in the late 2000s.
Yes.
So names like Beckham and Thierry Henry might be confusing to him, especially as a non-football fanatic. But yeah, just getting back into it now. The purpose or the reason behind the channel, I think is just talking about our passion, which is football, which is Manchester United and Arsenal for Abdul. And the reason we brought us together is to talk about both of these fallen giants, and hoping for renewed success, renewed vigor, and hopefully more and more years of dominance in English football between Manchester United and Arsenal.
And to be honest, guys, both teams thus far very different preparations to the new season. Transfer markets going a little bit disarray for United.
Yeah.
But I must say, on our side, Arsenal, I think we've turned the corner. They talk about trusting the process. It was difficult for us fans. I'm sure difficult for the management, but we trust the process, and this is where we're at. Ten Hag, I love him. Yep. I think he's a phenomenal manager. Very good man manager, man to man. I think Ronaldo still has a big part to play in it. So I'm looking forward to it. However, we have the problem of the Glazers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a big problem. So, as a United fan, what's your take? Because I have a take, and this is just my opinion. But I believe since the start, they loan money apparently to buy Manchester United, and that 600 million or whatever it was is not even paid. So,
yeah, exactly.
So how do you move forward if you still have debt on the club? So it's difficult for the fans. I know you guys are pushing them out, and there's bias. Just quickly, Ibi, I was just listening to I was listening to one of the news channels, and there were 100 buyers for Chelsea. Once it went on sale, there was 100 buyers. So I mean, United, a club like United, you'll probably triple that.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a shortage of buyers, but I think the problem is the Glazers' willingness to sell, because they've treated United as a cash cow from day one, and they'll continue to treat it as a cash cow. And I think the only time they'll sell is when United becomes non-profitable for them, when they see a massive backlash from fans, and when Main Street media start speaking out against the Glazers. And I think we've seen that starting to happen, a little bit by bit, in the recent days, I would say.
Yes.
But I think that's something we can come back onto. So Shady, a topic that's on everybody's lips at the moment, United and Manchester United and and every other fan currently, is the ownership model at Manchester United in the Glazers. Obviously, we're all aware of the leverage buyout that the Glazers took in order to acquire Manchester United back in 2005. So it's been 17 years of incompetence. And I think, there's this perception from rival fans that Manchester United fans and supporters are actually only piping up now because of the the bad luck or the lack of results in the last couple of years, right? But I remember, back in 2005, the outcry that was there all the way through, through the last 17 years. And I think what really exposed the Glazers was losing someone like, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Of course, it
who
was
really papered over the cracks that the Glazers brought in. And they haven't been able to recover since Sir Alex left Manchester United. And it's weird saying that because, he's been gone since 2013.
Yes,
so for United not to recover after all of these years, it seems like, these Glazers have really taken a toll on Manchester United. But obviously, I've got my views as a Manchester United fan. But I'd like to hear, as a rival fan, I suppose you're enjoying seeing this here. But what are your thoughts on the Glazers? And do you think there's a possibility of somebody coming in and buying, Manchester United?
Look, for me, Ibrahim, Manchester United is one of the elite clubs. So getting a buyer, I don't think will be a problem. But the current status is said. But we all know it was going to happen sooner or later. They should have sold it a long time ago. However, the Glazers held on. And the sad part is that Manchester United have not improved in any way. However, you guys have gone backwards. Now, at Arsenal, we've also went through a transition period. However, there was a plan. And the transition period, when Stan Kroenke gave it to his son over, I think it's Josh, if I'm not mistaken, but gave it to his son, and some money was pumped in after the Emirates Stadium. Glazers just took it for granted. And let me tell you something, talent at United, there's so much of talent, but they just lost the plot. They've lost the plot, and it's sad for an Arsenal fan looking over. I mean, that staunch rivalry that we had. I mean, the Champions League, the leagues. Without Sir Alex Ferguson, this whole empire is crumbling. So if there has to be a buyer certainly soon, very, very, very soon, or else we're going to lose one of the elite clubs. And think about it, your Liverpools, your Manchester Cities, your PSGs, even now Chelsea, when it comes to the administration, they're about 10 years ahead.
100%.
They're 10 years ahead. So, look, managerial-wise, when it comes to Ten Hag, I think they've gone a way where they can develop into a superpower on the field. But remember, this is Manchester United we're speaking about. And your matters need to be sorted out on the field and off the field.
100%.
Right? So that's just how I feel about it. But it's a sad time. I know when we were all Kroenke out. But he's come to the party. With the signing of Arteta, that was the intent. Let's get it right. And the sad part, and I think I'm going to leave it at this, is that Manchester United has lost their DNA. And with Sir Alex Ferguson, the DNA, I mean, even when Sir Alex Ferguson walks down the passage at Old Trafford, there's some sort of, you feel that pride, And I think the DNA, the soul of the club has left us.
Yeah, I think maybe, just some final thoughts from me on the Glazer ownership. And I think just like to put some myths or perceptions to bed here, in that the Glazers have spent over £1 billion on transfers. Let's for the record, let's set that straight, that the Glazers did not put any money into Manchester United. The £1 billion that Manchester United has spent on transfers, failed transfers over the last couple of years, is revenue that Manchester United as a entity, as a business, has generated over the last 12 years. Right? From 2005 right through to now 2022. In fact, the Glazers, we spoke about it, took out that £600 million pound loan. The loan still stands at around 600 million.
Exactly 600 million.
They haven't paid off anything.
Yeah.
They've just been paying the interest off on the loan. And they've essentially taken out 1.5 billion pounds out of the football club while not investing a single penny of their own money. And I think that therein lies the problem, number one. Number two, I think no matter which manager is at the helm, I really enjoy that they've gone after Ten Hag and they brought him in, because I think he's a coach of the future and he could definitely compete with the likes of Guardiola, Klopp,
yes,
Arteta, Tuchel, etc. But he needs to be backed. He's not a magician, and I think without the backing he'll fail, and we've seen it, right? Moyes came in on the recommendation of Sir Alex Ferguson. He wanted a certain type of player. I don't know if you recall, he wanted Fabregas as his initial buy. He ended up with Fellaini as a panic buy.
Do you know what? Before Fabregas went to Chelsea, he was actually considered.
Yeah.
Because remember something, the relationship between us and Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson at that time, it was also strong in its own little way. No, they were rivals, but they respected each other.
100%.
So these guys just...
And that's,
you just don't care, man.
Exactly, and I think that's the main message is that, Moyes wanted Fabregas, he got Fellaini. And I mean, no disrespect to Mauro Fellaini. He's a really good player, but not in the class of Fabregas.
Ibrahim, think about it. You have a world class, and for me, Paul Scholes. Let's be honest. Whether you love him or hate him, underrated or not, I believe he was brilliant. His link-up play was amazing, and at that time, Cesc Fabregas was the man.
I understand. He could have been the player to come and fill in the role.
Exactly. So these were these...
Then you had Van Gaal who came in, post Moyes, and he wanted Sadio Mane. He didn't get him. We had Mourinho coming in who wanted Perisic, etc. He didn't get him, so he wasn't backed with the players that he wanted. Actually, the Glazers went around signing those big names, for the shirt sales in the likes of Pogba,
and Ibrahim, you mentioning big players here. These players that you just mentioned off the cuff, these went on to win championships.
100%.
Big championships.
And let's not forget Solskjaer, right? I know Solskjaer's name got thrown through the mud. Really great servant of the football club, and I think someone who did a really good job in the first couple of years, and kind of build a foundation. I know it got tarnished a bit towards the end, and you're hearing all of the murmurings coming out about the coaching style, etc. But when he came in, he asked for a certain type of player, right? He wanted Erling Haaland, he wanted Jude Bellingham. These are the type of players that he asked for, and he didn't get, right? And the same thing now is happening with Ten Hag. It's almost as if it's, rinse and repeat. Where Ten Hag's come in, he's asked for Timber, we didn't get him.
No.
He's asked for He's asked for Anthony. We waited too long in the transfer market. He's asked for Frankie. There's no fault to Manchester United, but he's not going to get the player he wanted, or it doesn't look like he's going to get the player he wanted. So again, to the point, no matter who the Glazers bring in, at the helm or at the coaching level from a Manchester United perspective, the only way that this football club will develop and grow into the powerhouse that they are again for generations to come is by the Glazers selling. So my final thoughts on this: Glazers, please sell Manchester United. Cash in while you have the chance. You didn't spend any of your money. You've got an opportunity to make a bucket load of money. Cash in, sell Manchester United, and go and focus on your football team, American football.
Glazers out.
Glazers out.
Glazers out.
Now that we've spoken about the Glazers, I think this is a perfect segue because the failure of the Glazers, and I mean, Shady's touched on Krunker and how his son is coming and revitalized, what's happening at the Emirates. And I think it's been really apparent in what is happening at the Emirates versus what's happening at Old Trafford during the opening week of the Premier League. Obviously, I know we're a bit late, but I mean, Arsenal started off the new Premier League season Friday night.
Friday night.
This was something we were all waiting for. And I think Arsenal didn't disappoint. They came out a bit shaky up front, but they grew into the game, and you could see the confidence from Arteta flowing into the players, and obviously coming away with the win ultimately. So Abdul, your thoughts on it?
Yeah? Ibrahim, I was actually going into the game. I was actually very nervous, right? Because you have a few new players, but also Patrick Vieira at Crystal Palace. So Patrick Vieira, with the Roy Keane. These guys get into your face, and I knew he was going to come out there and he was really going to get into the Arsenal boys' faces. So, having said that, I think the transfer market has been good. I think we needed. The quality that Arteta has added has been exceptional.
Yeah, I think we'll focus on the transfer window, but I just want to get your thoughts on the game. What did you think
the game,
about the game, the way Arteta approached it, the actual outcome of the game?
Honestly, technically, very, very superior. Like I said, and just going back with the signings he made, that brings a little bit more character to the team. Because he signed world-class players, but not forgetting the players he's got.
What I thought, and sorry to cut you there, but what I thought was really like a master stroke from Arteta was making Odegaard the club captain.
Brilliant.
That youngster coming in, building confidence over the last season or so.
It takes me back. I don't know if you can remember. I forget the year, but I think it was also about 2004, just before earlier. But Fabregas became captain, and William Gallas was our captain, and Arsene Wenger was asked why. And he said, it doesn't matter how old my captain is. It's just how he leads. So age just ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, exactly.
But Odegaard has grown. Missed chances. Crystal Palace played a wonderful game. But the writing was on the wall. 2-0. Leicester on Saturday. The team is looking good. Also, guys, All or Nothing on Amazon. Watch how Arteta molded this team to play to how he wants them to play. The youngsters are doing well. I was impressed. Saka, Martinelli doing very, very, very well. But the freedom they have to play. So good away win. And we can only get better. We can only get better. We can only build on it.
What I liked about the game, and I saw something that I felt was straight out of the training ground, was Martinelli's goal from the corner.
Oh yes.
The corner came in. All of the Arsenal players at the edge of the box. Corner coming in. Zinchenko pulling to the back post.
Brilliant.
Caught that entire Crystal Palace team off guard. They didn't expect it. Zinchenko heading it back across. Onto Martinelli, and he couldn't miss, right?
Do you know, Ibrahim, a fact? Arsenal actually have, they were one of the first. Obviously, Manchester City had it, Barcelona, but their own free kick and a dead ball specialist coach that deals with all of these corners. If you remember, a few years ago, Arsenal were not scoring set pieces. We were struggling to score an open play. But when Arteta came in, that changed. So we have a different element to play. That we play. The build-up play is good. Aaron Ramsdale from the back is brilliant. He's solid. So I think they're looking good. I think Arsenal can only get better. For us as fans, I'm excited. I'm sure as a rival fan, you're also excited because you want to see such clubs at the highest level.
And I think that's that's the beauty of the Premier League, right? Like, I know there's banter between the different clubs, between the different rival fans, but for a thriving Premier League, you need your giant clubs to be performing.
Definitely.
No disrespect to all the other clubs, but I think, when you think of English football and the dominance over the last couple of years, going back from the 2000 right through to where we are now, you think of, the great old United teams, the Chelsea teams, the Arsenal, the Invincibles coming through those patches, and now we had the rivalry of Manchester City and Liverpool, who are doing phenomenally well. So it'll be good for the Premier League. It will be good for English football, I suppose, if not one or two teams are competing, but if you have 5 or 6 teams going for their top positions, and I think to see a fallen giant like Arsenal come back to where they're meant to be, and hopefully it's long lasting, right? Not just a once off. It will be really good. I won't lie. Before we get into United, I think I was looking forward to the Amazon All or Nothing documentary. I thought it would be good banter for me to actually dig into you around it. But it actually gave me some good insights into how Arteta sets up, the type of character he is, and also what players go through, right? And the abuse that they get and how they deal with it, etc. I'm not going right through. I've stopped on episode 1 now, but I mean, it gave some really good insights into all of that, and I look forward to visiting that and really watching through that. So I think it was a really good documentary, and just shows what's still to come from an Arsenal perspective. Yeah.
But Ibrahim, I want to talk about Manchester United, right, guys? So I think we have to.
I know it's a Manchester United and Arsenal channel, but Saad, do you think we need to talk about Manchester United, or can we just skip over the opening week?
Okay. So look here, Manchester United. What's sad for me as a rival fan is that there's been no improvement this season. Absolutely no improvement. The players that Ten Hag was given is the players that ended last season. Now what I'm saying is that if there's no progression, like we spoke earlier about, off the field as well, off the field is very important. So there's no progression. I mean, it was the same thing. Look, you can see how Ten Hag wants to set up. He's a bit more aggressive, which you guys need. He wants to have the ball at their feet. He's technically there. However, he just needs to spur those players a little bit on. And you guys need a little bit more in the transfer market. But however, I don't think that's going to happen. But moving forward, Brighton, in their faces, chances, both sides, but just the movement and the play of Manchester United. At times it was a bit negative.
Yeah, I think before getting into the game, something I'd like to touch on, and I think you brought it up, is, Ten Hag was appointed, I think, sometime during May, while the season was still on, right?
Correct.
While Rangnick was still there as the interim coach, Ten Hag came in, and Rangnick, I think that's a topic for another day, but I think, he's the only one who really spoke out against the Glazers, and unfortunately we see what happened to him, so they appointed Ten Hag in May, and they knew this was one of the most important seasons that Manchester United are approaching, right? And it seems like there was no real plan. They came out with all the spin and propaganda about, replacing Woodward with the likes, Woodward and Judge with the likes of Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh, Darren Fletcher, and it was going to be, a full revamp, and things were going to be done differently this season. And you said, he was given the same thing. I tend to disagree there. He wasn't given the same team. He was given actually a weaker team than what he got last season, right? Because if you think of the players that left, we lost the likes of Cavani, we lost the likes of Mata, Jesse Lingard, Paul Pogba, Nemanja Matic. Those are all players that have left Manchester United since the season has ended. And they haven't really backed Ten Hag. And that shows the type of performance that we had against Brighton, right? When you go into a Premier League opener with Fred and McTominay in a two-man holding midfield, I think you expect to struggle, and your opposition teams are going to take advantage of that and really come at you, right? Yeah. And we've seen, off the start of the whistle, Brighton almost scored within the first minute of the game, right? Due to some lackluster defending, some really poor decision making from a United team. And I think it's a bit of a rinse and repeat since last season. United exposed in the back, which allowed two really easy goals to come through. We're not defending properly on our posts, which allow players to come in from the back. Simple tap-in goals, etc. We missed chances. I think. Bruno, when it was 0-0, he had an opportunity at the edge of the box, unmarked. He should have taken his chance.
And you expect him to take his chance.
Those things happen, but you expect him to take it. Lack of firepower. With the injury to Martial, Ten Hag took a gamble in playing Eriksen as a false nine. I think that backfired.
It did.
Didn't really work out. And you've seen, once Ronaldo came in and Eriksen moved into a more that holding midfield or deeper role, really the game changed a bit.
It did, definitely.
Ronaldo brought a different element to the game. The changes brought a different element to the game. But, when you're 2-0 down at Old Trafford in the opening game of the season, you take your chances, Abdul.
No, you have to.
Marcus Rashford, and I don't know what you think. I've always been a massive Marcus Rashford fan, and I hope he comes good. It seems like he's going through something really, something is really affecting him from an output perspective. Because Rangnick also said, he trains really well, but he doesn't translate it into the match.
Yes.
And Ronaldo set him up really nicely, to make it 2-1, just at the beginning of the second half. And if that goes in, I think it's a different game.
Totally.
But he's missed two. The second chance was a little bit more difficult. But Rashford's level, the Premier League, Manchester United striker, you should be putting those away.
No, definitely. Definitely.
I think it's a whole host of things. I don't think United were ready for the season because of what the Glazers have done. We spoke about the Glazers. I'm not going to go into it.
It derails everything.
Ten Hag hasn't been backed. We don't have players with confidence. It showed, right? It was, like you said, lackluster performance, really negative football. And if you had to blindfold me, not blindfold me because you wouldn't see. If you had to bring someone in from last season who watched a Solskjaer team or a Rangnick team and they watched what was on display on Sunday, you wouldn't know a new coach was.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
These players have shown it time and time again. Manchester United players. You touched on it earlier, the likes of Roy Keane and stuff. Characters, guys that could fight for the badge, knew what it was to play for Manchester United. Could really familiarize himself with the fans, with what needs to be done on the field. These players are very far attached from that. And it shows, the slightest sign of trouble or of difficulty, they go into their shell and they don't know what to do. And that showed in it. If Brighton can come to Old Trafford and boss Manchester United and walk away with a 2-1 victory and seem really comfortable, it's going to be a worrying season. And I just hope that, with what's left of the transfer market, we salvage some things, but you touched on it with the current ownership. I don't think it's possible, and I think we as United fans are in for a really, really long and difficult season.
However, I feel, look, it's going to be a tough season for Manchester United. I don't deny that. However, I just feel that with this Ten Hag, I just feel good around him. I feel he's got a good persona. He's positive. I think the way he sets out his team is good. Like you said, he needs to be backed.
100%.
Look at the love him or hate him, Cristiano Ronaldo is, for me, still world class, right? You don't get a player like that. So having him and sustaining him just for one more season, I'm sure we can work around it. And I think Ten Hag will come strong. He will come strong. It's just the DNA, man. 100%. And I talk about the DNA passionately because that's what these clubs have. That's what they're all about. It's about the DNA. And Manchester United is a winning club. So moving forward, it's going to be an interesting season. Long season. Lots of ups and downs.
World Cup season.
The
season stops.
Also,
it's going to be a bit of a disruptive season.
Different season. It's going to be very, very funny.
So let's see how that goes. And I think, this is a nice way for us to now segue into the transfer market.
Look, and just before moving on, a positive for Manchester United, Benny McCarthy.
Oh, yes.
What a positive for Manchester United. Benny McCarthy, the striking coach for Manchester United. So
I love that.
I hope we're going to be a little bit more in the area, like Benny in the area. Right? Yeah.
I won't lie, as a local footballer, local football fan, I'm a Buccaneer through and through.
Yes.
So to see, someone we grew up, TKZ, you
TKZ
mentioned
in the area,
but,
yes.
So to see a footballer that we grew up with, a South African, a true professional, get his chance on the international scene, just shows that South Africans, we have potential.
Of course, definitely.
The opportunities are there, and we shouldn't be sleeping on it. Yeah. We've seen Desiree Ellis with Banyana really doing really well. Brilliant. Now Benny McCarthy on the international scene with Manchester United.
Pitso Mosimane.
Pitso. Al Ahly are struggling without
They're
him.
struggling.
Right?
Yes.
So to see South Africans and South African personalities, bossing it on the international scene is really positive. And I hope Benny, Benny all the best. I wish him all the best at Old Trafford, and I hope he leaves his mark on Manchester United. And I hope the players take him in really positively. I've heard some good news about his training sessions over the last week.
Okay.
Apparently, he's been doing really good sessions that has really got Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Ronaldo really interested in the drills that he's doing. They're staying after training to take part in additional training with Benny. So yeah, it's good. So yeah, let's positive for South Africa, and let's hope Benny does really, really well at Manchester United. I'm not forgetting who's sitting next to me. He goes by the name Shady, but his name's actually Abdul Samad. So yeah, so when you hear me calling him Abdul, don't be confused. Yeah. So Shady, we've spoken about the Glazers. We've spoken about the opening week for our teams. I love what Arsenal's been doing in the transfer market. Some shock news. You guys are after Tonali. As a United fan, it makes me cry a little bit because I wish we were going after a player like that. Yeah. So, just your thoughts. We're not going to delve too much into it, but your thoughts on Arsenal's activity in the market so far, and what do you expect over the next couple of weeks? Because obviously the transfer market closes on the 1st of September.
100%.
So we've got a couple of weeks left of the transfer window. So yeah, just your thoughts on what you guys done and what you're still going to do coming into the Premier League season.
This particular season, I'm very optimistic because Arsenal have done something which we don't normally do. I don't know if you know, Arsenal always keep things for the last minute. If you remember that Ozil signing was just done just before that. But anyway, with us and Wenger, they always kept us guessing. Yeah. And this time with Arsenal, he went out, he had his targets, and he went out and he got his targets.
I think
now
Edu's
the
been
two
doing
targets,
some very good work for you guys, huh?
It was brilliant, eh? The two signings that really have captivated me is the Jesus signing and Zinchenko. Remember, with these two guys, they've played for the past 3-4 seasons
winners.
at the highest level. They're champions, they're winners. You know, so bringing them into a raw team, and I say a raw because, I mean, you have the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, you have Martinelli, Saka, these are raw diamonds. And just to add these winners
100%.
around them is important for their development. Having said that, also remember, Ibrahim, last season, Mikel Arteta had to also make courageous decisions. And one decision was getting rid of Aubameyang because of the negative impact he brings to the team. So I must say, I'm impressed with Arteta. I'm impressed with Edu is doing. I don't think we over. I really don't think we over. I think the left back that was sorted out. And there's one particular signing, but it's not a new signing, William Saliba. Class defender. He reminds me so much of, remember Van Dijk, that first season when he came into Liverpool. Look, we don't want to say, but he's a good player.
Oh no, it's a class player.
Right?
I wouldn't say he's the best.
I don't think,
but I think he's in the top 10 at least.
But I mean, Saliba totally bossed Crystal Palace on Friday night. He totally bossed it. Now remember, William Saliba just was a small statistic, was on the way out. But last year, he was the young player of the year in France because he played for Marseille. And remember, he was going up against the Neymars, the Kylian Mbappes, the Messis, and he won the young player of the year. So when it comes to Arsenal's transfer market, I think he got the players he wanted. He acquired them early. And I think they can only get stronger. I mean, there was a time we touched on it earlier, but there was a time against Crystal Palace where you could see they were a bit tired and they just never clicked. But I'm telling you, when Arsenal are going to click this season, it's going to be beautiful.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be very, 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 very beautiful. However, you guys on the other
Your
side,
thoughts on
Manchester
Tonali
United.
before we get into United?
Tonali, face of Italy, like we were just discussing earlier on. Someone which we need. Because I still say that Xhaka and Partey, Xhaka is a bit, he's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You need cover.
There's a cloud sitting over Partey at the moment also.
That's also a problem. That's a little bit. I hope that gets resolved. Yeah. However, he's got this Fabio Vieira also, another signing. So Fabio Vieira, very, very good player. I think, but he's more going to be a more backup for Odegaard and maybe Emil Smith-Rowe because he's more of a attacking player. But I think with new additions, a good centre mid. The face of Italy, like we said, and we take it from there. Tonali, hopefully, if we get there, that would be amazing.
So if this was a school exam, how would you rate Arsenal's window so far?
Yes, I can. For the first time in a couple of years, I can give him about an 8 out of 10. And honestly,
so
I'm
happy. You're giving them an A rating.
I'm honestly giving him A. Look at the last time we had this much joy was with the Ozil signing. It was in 2016.
Oh, that one broke my heart. I really thought United were in form.
You know, I mean, the Ozil one was so,
class player.
Just after Manchester
disrespected.
United, massively disrespected, and for standing up for the right.
For the right reasons,
Look,
100%.
For that reason, and maybe we'll touch on it another time, but it broke my heart just to see the way you went. But that was since the last time. Well, I was excited.
Truly excited.
And before that, I think Van Persie went to Manchester United. That broke us. The Ozil brought us a little bit better, and they gave him a number 10. So we were okay. And then for the past 2-3 years, we've been struggling. And this year, I think he's really gone. And let me tell you, the Jesus and Zinchenko only came because of Arteta.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So
he's built a relationship.
So he's
with
built
him,
a beautiful
100%.
relationship. You guys on the other end, nothing to even really speak about, but very, very, very tough.
We touched on it on a little bit earlier, but I think, we all knew what United needed to do coming into this window. Rangnick spelled it out. He spoke about 10 changes. Obviously, you're not going to make 10 changes because you mess up the stability. But we expected about 5 or 6 signings to come in this season.
But you've lost 5.
And we thought, I
Major.
mean, the 5 that we lost, okay, but I thought, 5 this time, you're helping build. Expectations this season, and it kills me to say this, was never to win the Premier League, it was to finish in
Correct.
the top 4, and then next season you build again, yeah. I mean, for Manchester United to say that it's tough. Yeah.
It's difficult.
We knew coming into this market we needed a striker or an attacking players, because we know obviously Martial, as good as a player he is, he works in spells, right? And he can't be leading your line throughout the season. Ronaldo, as good as he is, can't play Sunday, Thursday football.
Correct. You're going to need a backup.
He needs a break in between. He is 37 years old. And he's in brilliant shape, but you need to look after him to get the best out of Ronaldo. And we've seen last season, with Cavani out, Martial, and what happened with Greenwood, there was not much cover, and Ronaldo was playing week in, week out, and you saw it took a toll on him, right? Of course. So we knew we needed reinforcements up front. The middle of the park, we knew, it's been depleted for the last couple of years. We knew we needed players in there. We lost the likes of Pogba and Matic. So that needed cover. And then our defense has been a shambles over a long period of time, right? The players we brought in, I think Malacia as a young left back, I think this was a really shrewd signing by Ten Hag. Took it away at the last minute. We almost hijacked the deal.
But a good player.
Good player,
Very
and I
good
think
player.
he's shown potential
For the
over
future,
pre-season,
yes,
and I think he'll
definitely.
grow into one of the better left backs.
Definitely.
And I think he's built for the Premier League. Martinez, a real bulldog of a defender.
Yes.
He'll
Actually,
take time.
you guys hijacked Martinez from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But
You guys were in. You guys were in for him. Ajax took
good
us.
player.
Ajax took us, and got a really good fee out of him. But I think he's a good player and someone Ten Hag trust, and as a manager.
And he's built, and he just feels like he's going to do well in
Yeah,
the
exactly. And I
Premiership.
think the mentality of the type of players Ten Hag is bringing in shows. Right?
Yes,
You got Malacia, who will fight for the coach and for the club. You got
Martinez.
Martinez, really rugged, strong defender who's not scared to get into tackles. Didn't have the best opening day, didn't have the worst opening day. I think in a dysfunctional United team, he's shown his quality, and he brought some calm and composure to the game. And then obviously we've got Eriksen, really shrewd and good signing from Manchester United. Eriksen on a free. I think he brings quality to any team that he comes into, but it's not enough, Abdul.
No, you need more. You need much more.
We've spent, I think, net to date around £50 million in a season, because obviously we've let Andreas Pereira go to Fulham.
Correct.
Do I expect any major signings coming in? Since the bad showing at the weekend, the Glazers are now, scattergun, or not the Glazers rather, the team of Murto and Arnold, scattergun approach. We've been linked with the likes of Arnautovic, which is a shocker for me.
That shocked me too.
I think a player who was good.
Everybody.
Yeah, I think a player who was good back in the day. He's gone to China, now playing in Italy. For United to go and get a 34-year-old,
doesn't make sense.
To come and lead the line or as a backup, it shows that our approach hasn't changed much since the days of Woodward and Judge. We've been linked with Rabiot.
Yes, I saw that today.
I think Rabiot is a good player, but he comes with a lot of baggage. And if it's Rabiot and no one else, really bad. But if it's Rabiot with another two midfielders, okay, I can deal with that. We've been linked with, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but Gakpo from PSV, where Van Nistelrooy is leading the line there. I don't know if you watched the game between PSV and Monaco yesterday. Van Nistelrooy is doing some really good stuff with him. So yeah, we linked with him. And obviously, Frankie de Jong, who we've been chasing the entire season. It looked like Chelsea have come to the party as well.
But could that still happen if it
depends what happens with it's a whole contractual stuff with Barcelona that's going on. You know, Frankie is owed around 17 million euros worth of outstanding fees due to him. He doesn't want to leave until it's paid to him. Barcelona want him to take a pay cut and forfeit that to be able to stay at the club. I think that's going to become nasty.
So it's going to be a heavy story.
I think it's going to become nasty. And however, how that plays out will determine whether Frankie goes or whether he stays. Initially, we were the only team in for him, but I see Chelsea has come to the party. And Chelsea obviously offer Champions League football, which we don't. So yeah, I mean, United's window has been really poor. Even if they do bring in Frankie, I mean, and someone else, it's left a really bitter taste in the mouth. And if I had to rate Manchester United's transfer window, and let's not forget, this was meant to be a really important transfer window. You know, to back the coach, right? Back Ten Hag, give him the tools to really succeed. I would give this transfer window a D-. And that's a bad place to actually come from for United. I'm not happy, and I don't think there's going to be major movements before the close of the window. But let's see.
Let's see how it goes. But on a lighter note, all of you 2,000 babies, and I think Saad as well. You spoke of Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, Ruud
Van Nistelrooy. Please, guys, if you guys have time, go back, YouTube it, I think, and the matches between Arsenal and United. What year was it? 90s, eh?
No.
2004, 5?
2004.
2003, 2004. Epic rivalry, guys. Epic rivalry. And if you just look at a few of those videos, Van Nistelrooy, Martin Keown.
I mean, Pizzagate. Right?
The Pizzagate. I mean, Arsenal and Manchester United, wow.
Rough and tough, man.
Rough and tough.
It's been an interesting discussion. I think where we are now is obviously another Premier League game week is in front of us. We've got a couple of games coming up this weekend. You know, Abdul, what do you think are Arsenal's chances against Leicester? Usually a tricky team to play against. But it seems that they're in a bit of disarray as well. You know, they've lost Kasper Schmeichel.
Hey, that was...
so they've lost Kasper Schmeichel.
That's a captain, eh?
Yeah, exactly. They've got a few injuries as well, some long-term injuries that they have coming into the season. Rodgers is a really good coach, and I think gets a lot out of their players. But I personally think, you know, Arsenal will continue their form into the weekend. But yeah, what's your thoughts and what are your predictions for the game?
All I can say, good time to play Leicester. Very good time. Like you just touched on the injuries. They lost their captain. And at home, I think the Emirates is going to be buzzing on Saturday. I wish we were there. But anyway, it's going to be buzzing. Remember the welcome of our new signings and all of that. I'm looking for an easy 2-0 win, Arsenal. And honestly, with all due respect to Leicester, I just think that Leicester is always a booby team. You know, they can come off the cuff and knock you, 2-3 goals before after. I mean, the Fox Vadi can do that easily, you know. So, with all due respect, I just think... Yes, definitely. And I just think at the moment, Arsenal a little bit more grounded. And I think a win is on the cards. I really do.
And I think playing at home, at the Emirates... Are you guys playing at home?
Yes, home game.
Playing at the Emirates, at the moment, there's a renewed hope in the Arsenal fan base.
And that's going to spur on. It's going to spur them on.
So that Emirates Stadium is going to be bumping, right? I think you know, you guys going to have that 12th man in terms of the crowd really spurring on the players. So sorry for using the word spurring on. I know Spurs is one of your guys' rivals, but I mean spurring on the team. I also expect Arsenal to really take it easy. Another win, and it'll be 2 out of 2, setting you guys up nicely for the season. United on the other hand,
tricky one.
We travelled to Brentford. On paper, Manchester United, as dysfunctional as we are, should make light work of Brentford. But we know the quality
However, the
and
quality,
the mindset of
and the
United players
atmosphere
are not there. And I think Thomas Frank is a really well-oiled team. And Tony leading the line,
He's troublesome.
Exactly. And, I would say that the way our season is currently going and the way the market has been going, I wouldn't mind if Manchester United bring in someone like Ivan Toney to lead the line for us, because I think he's a central, that focal point up front that can really help Cristiano Ronaldo, really help the players to find him as they play, because you got guys like Bruno and Eriksen, really, guys
Actually,
that can really
find
find
a beautiful signing.
Exactly. So, I'm hoping at the corridors of Old Trafford, at least his name is being mentioned, and someone that could potentially come to United. In terms of results, I think if we start with Fred and McTominay, as we like to call him,
McFred, yes.
If we start with them as our two holding midfielders, I think it's going to be a long Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening.
But Ibrahim, if I may, what other options? McTominay,
I think play the youngsters, right? I think
give them
James
a show.
Jamie Gardner showed that he can do it at
player.
Nottingham Forest.
Yes.
Really help them come through and help them win promotion. I think play him. Use Eriksen in the deeper lying role. We saw he could do it against Brighton. When he moved into the deeper role, it really brought him out. We've got the likes of Zidane Iqbal.
Oh yes,
and Charlie Savage, who did really well during pre-season. I'm not saying pin our hopes on those youngsters, but as a once-off while we're trying to figure out the transfer market, I would rather use them. And no disrespect to McTominay and Fred. I think they're being shoehorned into positions that they can't play. They're not starters for Manchester United. No. They could be really good rotational players, but not players to start off in really important positions. So yeah, I think if they start, it's going to be a long Saturday, and I truly expect United to struggle. However, if Ten Hag changes it up a bit, and really solidifies that midfield, I think we could potentially come away with a 2-1 or 3-1 victory at Brentford. But yeah, let's see what holds the weekend.
I'm optimistic. I look at Brentford at home. I mean, the crowd, just the crowd. That's at 12 men. I mean, they're passionate. They a very, very small soccer club, but the fans are. I'm hoping a scrape 2-1 win, even a draw. Even I don't know.
I would like in draws, man.
I would like a win, but it's going to be a scrappy one. United need to play, and they need to play very, very.
And I mean,
with
well. Liverpool coming up the next week, we need to, this is a must win.
Yes.
And it's tough to say that, it's the second game of the season, but we can't afford to be dropping points now.
You can't.
And it just shows where Manchester United are and where we feel we are as a football club currently. So, yeah, not too optimistic coming into the weekend. I hope we get the result. But unlike you Arsenal guys that are confident about results, we as Manchester United fans live in hope rather than truly feeling confident about the weekend.
And we know the feeling as well, because there was a time where, you remember Unai Emery?
Good coach,
but
just never suited for Arsenal,
suited for us. Arsenal and United, we say these are these giant clubs.
Exactly.
So we know the feeling. It's difficult as a Manchester United fan currently, but hoping they can just take the corner and do better.
Roll on the weekend.
Let's
hope for some good results. Yep. This has been something that's been a year in the making. Started off at the tennis court. When during COVID, we was trying to find some activity to do that was really, distanced. By the way, for the viewers, Abdul Shady, is actually a football coach. And this is where the discussion really, came to life. He was doing some training sessions with some kids. I was practicing my tennis, which I'm really terrible at.
Getting there.
And this is where the baby was born, gunning to Old Trafford. Obviously, at that time, there was no name. We had no idea how we're going to form it, what was our niche. But, over the last year or so, this has been something we've been thinking about a lot. So, first show done and dusted. I'm feeling really excited. Not only for the season, but also to see how this channel grows, how you as our viewers really enjoy the content. And please, drop us any feedback, in the comments field or at our email, which will appear in the info section below. What you'd like to see, what worked, what didn't work, so that we can also improve. And we'd like to walk this journey together to hopefully, build a channel that's for all Manchester United and Arsenal fans, and also for those secret fans that really like to, in the shadows.
The undercover fans, yes.
Exactly.
Ibrahim, it was a pleasure. And hopefully this is a start of something special. We thank you guys for viewing. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
You got it right this time.
I got it right. Yes. Thank you guys. Ciao. All the way.
Until next week.
We will be gunning to Old Trafford.
We'll be gunning to Old Trafford. So thank you everybody, and good evening, and see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.